The views or opinions expressed in this presentation are those of the participants and do not necessarily represent the views and opinions of Westman Communications Group or its employees.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the KC Chronicles.
What episode are we even on? Like, if we had to guess, what do you think?
We say this like every episode. We've been saying this for a while. I think we're close to 15.
I was gonna guess 15 because I think. Oh wow, I'm just listening to my voice right now and I sound like I'm so sick, but I'm not. I promise I'm not. But
you're sick of not knowing what episode.
Yeah, maybe we should count that. Maybe we should get a hold of that.
We need to find a cure to the.
Maybe we should do that after the episode today, just to make sure.
Just to be like 100%
because at least then
certain.
we know when we get to 1,000 and we don't have to count at that point. If we count when we're in the lower, you know what I mean?
Yeah. We're going to spend the rest of the day doing that after this episode is done. But anyway.
How has your past week been? I'll ask that first.
My past week, I had some holidays. That was nice. I went for a bike ride. Went for a drive down a country road. It was nice. Like the West Virginia song.
West Virginia. Wait,
except I was here. I wasn't in West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just kind of relaxed, recharged my batteries, and it's Friday today, so that means it's like weekend.
I keep forgetting that. It's every day is a mumble jumble of work.
Mumble jumble, yeah. Well,
a mumble. Literally, I think I've worked every day this week.
What?
At one of my 3 jobs. I'm pretty sure it was Monday was Twisters. Tuesday I didn't work, but I had to come into town and I was doing some shopping. I just
broke your argument.
Wednesday was Twisters, I think. Thursday was I did a shoot yesterday, and I actually met a lady who knows my boyfriend and had the same birthday as me, which is actually kind of crazy.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that.
And then today I have podcast and Twisters. Tomorrow I have a shoot and Twisters. Sunday I may or may not work at Twisters. I kind of think I got somebody to take it, which thank that person, because I just really did not want to work.
We think. Oh yeah, if we forgot to mention, I'm your host, Colin Shalik, and I'm joined by my absolutely wonderful, wonderfully amazing co-host.
It's Friday. He's just stuttering. It's okay.
I'm a little fried today. It's Friday.
It's Friday, and he's fried today.
It's Friday on Friday. Before we jump into the episode, we have a very, very special topic to cover. Now, you might remember, like, about 4,000 years ago, on a previous episode, we talked about a certain caffeine challenge that a certain Kenzie was doing.
Why do you look so mad?
Because I'm upset because today...
It's over.
It's over.
I have a coffee to celebrate. Did you guys know how cheap McDonald's iced coffees were?
No, I didn't. Don't drink it. I don't drink it.
I only buy them when they're, like, the dollar drink days. This was $1.85 for a medium. Originally.
That seems like suspiciously cheap.
Originally. And the dollar drink days, you can get any size iced coffee for just $1.12. So, like, really, I didn't.
Get to McDonald's, guys, while you can.
Yeah, their iced coffees are crazy.
You don't know how long this will last. But no,
that's the original price of that.
Is it?
Yeah, the $1.85 is original for that.
Get down to McDonald's, everybody. Just go now. Just go right now. Just pause on your TV, pause on your computer. Just Run, drive, ski, bike, do whatever you got to do.
Imagine seeing someone ski down the road
in the middle of summer. Get your coffee, then come back, and then
enjoy the coffee with me.
Exactly. But no, I am in a bad mood because Kenzie is a self-confessed and also just universally recognized caffeine addict.
But I think I did good.
Yeah, you did.
I did
good.
Even
though there were some somewhat, boundary bending.
And whatever.
At some point.
I don't want to drink it all the time. I just needed it today. I had a really bad morning, so I was like, I need something.
Yeah, well, yeah. It's like, well, I have about a week left on the challenge, but it's fine. We can cut it now.
I also wanted to mention that I went to Craven last weekend.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Country Thunder in Craven, Saskatchewan.
That's not my world, so you...
It's sure. Essentially the Saskatchewan version of Dauphin's Country Fest, but it was almost like a mini fair. There was you had I think there was 10 concerts in total.
Wow.
Over the span of 3 days.
Jeez.
There was 4 the first day, 4 the second day, and 3 on the third day. Or
that's 11. No, it's not. That's
I'd have to
Yeah.
recount, but I think that's the amount that they were. And then there was like a whole main street before you went in the festival bowl, and it had food and stores, and like I bought cowboy hats there.
yeah,
Matching
plural,
cowboy
plural.
hats for me and my boyfriend.
Well, I was gonna say I saw like
Oh, yeah, no, I
all the
have.
pictures that you were posting. I think I counted like 3 different hats.
One I borrowed. The first one, the light one, I borrowed and I gave
borrowed.
back.
Borrowed.
The feather one I bought for Nickelback, and the other black one that I had, I bought matching ones for me and my boyfriend.
Yeah.
And I haven't given it to him yet, so I hope it fits his fat head. Sorry,
He's
but
just catching strays. You can't be doing that.
he's got big. Anyway.
Okay.
Anyway.
He's not here to defend himself. You can't call his head big and fat. 'Cause he's not here to defend
It is.
himself.
He would agree with me.
I'm gonna show him this episode.
All
and
right,
say,
you do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was amazing. I saw Nickelback for the second time. I saw
That's pretty
Luke
cool.
Combs. He was really,
I
really
know,
good.
Every person on social media was like, "Oh my God, Luke Combs." This is not my genre of music, except for Nickelback. So I'm like,
But all of them were good. And Nickelback was so good. They use fire in every show they do. Every
course
show.
they do. Fire
and
is
it's
just better.
insane. There was so much fire. I was pretty close to the stage. I could feel it from where I was.
So did you guys burn it to the ground, or
Yeah,
did you?
that was one of the last songs
Did
I
you?
played.
Did you?
We burned it to the
Did
ground.
you look at the photograph? Were you?
Yeah, we did.
Were you reminded?
Yeah.
If you don't listen to Nickelback,
You
those were
won't
3
understand.
Three amazing song references that are not outdated.
Also, if you do like Nickelback, I highly recommend going to a concert because honestly, their songs are great, but the commentary in between their music is hilarious.
Yeah.
Chad Kroeger, one of the funniest guys. He sits there and he commentates, and it's great. Anyway, we're wasting time. Sorry.
Well, no, bands that have that type of humility at their shows and they're able to have some fun with the fans is like that's a fun thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's always fun.
it's very fun. But we should jump into our topic, I guess. 'cause
Well, sorry.
we've been blabbing.
If I can share really
Yes.
quick funny concert
Real quick.
commentary, when I saw Metallica last August, Metallica they performed "Fade to Black," which they was all the way back from the mid '80s. When after the song, James Hetfield he got on the microphone saying, "We wrote that song 200 years ago." He's like almost an elderly man by this
Oh my
point. He's like,
God.
"We wrote that 200 years ago."
Yeah, there was one where because they played Saturday night, and so Chad was like, "I'm just planning your Sunday for you." So he's like, "You're gonna wake up and you're gonna start drinking."
Yeah,
And
that's
it's-
basically
it
how
was
it
a whole
goes
thing.
at most country festivals.
He's just like he was planning our Sunday for us.
Yeah, so you're gonna wake up hungover, and then you're gonna go get more
Yeah,
alcohol.
and then he's gonna say he's like you're gonna start your day with a healthy dose of Advil, and he was also talking about how Caesars are appetizers in Saskatchewan. He's
my
like, I want to
God.
teach all of our American friends that Caesars are an appetizer.
Yeah.
And so you go out with your American friends, and he's like, oh, we should order some appies. And the guy from Saskatchewan's like, yeah, I already did. It came with that big chunk of celery in it. And yeah, and it was
Yeah, alcohol is a central theme at
Yeah.
country festivals.
he was also teaching the Americans how to say Saskatchewan and Regina.
Saskatchewan. That's how.
That's not how you say it.
That is what I like to say. It's funny.
Chad
Anyway,
Kroeger would execute you for that.
isn't he from Alberta?
He is from Alberta,
Yeah, they're all from Alberta.
but he still will execute them. Okay, we're getting off topic.
We're getting off topic.
Now that we've blabbed for like 10 minutes,
Yeah, well, we just had to
we had to get
housekeeping.
we had a great week, and we just had to talk about
We had a
it.
great week. But
Into our topic.
into our topic, inspired partially by an activity that Kenzie went and did yesterday, we are going to be talking about movies.
Oh my God. Okay, guys, today is July 19th, and if anybody loves or wants to see the new Twisters movie, it technically came out today, but they were doing an early preview yesterday, and
Oh,
I
I didn't
saw
even
it.
know that. Oh, you
Yeah,
got
no,
lucky.
it was supposed to come out today, but they did it. They released it a day early here and showed it in the theater, and I went to it. I was just a lonely girl sitting in the corner by myself.
Well,
Well,
yeah,
everybody
'cause-
else was paired up, and I was just by myself, and I was like,
Oh, okay. I thought you said that because you texted me yesterday apparently saying the theater was empty. At
there
one
was
point.
maybe 10 people in total, including me, and
Well,
I was just
you
sitting
did go
by
in
myself.
the middle of the afternoon, so I mean,
But that was a good time to go because I feel like the night shows would have been packed.
oh yeah, it always is.
But let's just say this: the movie was life changing. Kind of made me want to change my career. We should turn this into a tornado chasing podcast.
Okay, again, I got text because she gave me a whole movie review the second she got out of
Oh,
the
yeah.
theater, and then she starts text me saying, "Colin, how about we become storm chasers?"
Come on, think about it. It
And I
was
said-
so cool.
What? What?
It'd be so fun.
Do you want?
No.
Do you want to like get?
Just hear me out. Sorry, I'm shaking the table. But
No, please go on.
this is a not spoiler. But in the movie, they have a truck, and the truck has these anchors. So it's like little things. It's
They're
you know when
called
you
tornado intercept vehicles or TIVs.
you know what you use when you go ice fishing to like drill the hole
Yes.
into the ice. They had those attached to the side of the truck, and you just like anchor them down, and they went in the middle of multiple tornadoes.
That kind of seems a little bit like Hollywood fiction. I mean, they have tornado intercept vehicles, but I don't know if they just
The
go
only one,
into
the only
ground.
one. Well, he custom built it and built it so those things
Well,
could
almost
do
all of them are
that.
custom built.
But what was I saying? Oh my god, no. The only tornado it didn't survive in the movie was an EF5.
Well, naturally, as they
Naturally.
are,
But like
as
every
they
other,
are big behemoth titans.
every other tornado was like it was steady. It was in the ground. It was pretty impressive. It was really impressive.
Interesting.
Also, it was really cool, and I loved the main character, Glenn Powell. I would marry him if I could.
Yeah, you had a crush on him, didn't you?
Oh my god, he was in Anyone But You, and if anyone
It's not
watched Anyone But You, that's the best rom-com I've ever watched.
I can't say that I have.
Watch it, and then watch
I don't-
Twisters.
I don't. Back to back.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's a tornado wrangler. He's a hot cowboy who wrangles tornadoes. What's there not to like?
I mean, you guys are hearing this all with me here. Kenzie's a little bit of a. I liked the tornado part, but she kind of lost me at a tornado wrangler, hot cowboy. I don't know what that has anything to do with the tornadoes, but I mean, how were the tornadoes? Were the special
they were
effects were they
insane.
realistic?
Oh, they were realistic. They looked so cool. There was one that like it took out a factory and like fire. It was like the mini fire
the
tornado started.
The firenado.
It didn't last very long, but it was a little mini
No,
fire
they-
tornado. It was really cool to watch.
Yeah, firenadoes don't really usually last too long, but they are a freaky bit of nature.
Yeah, it was really cool to watch. The first 10 minutes of the movie were traumatizing.
Well, but same with like the original, like the OG Twister.
Yeah.
That was traumatizing too. I think that's the point. It's to set the precedent.
But yeah, the first 10 minutes, I was in tears already. Oh yeah, no.
That quick?
And then I was mad because the main characters never kissed.
Your eyes twitching. Because the main character. Okay,
I'm sorry.
This is a tornado movie,
Yeah,
not a
but-
rom-com. Okay?
No. I know that, but there's always love interest in like every movie you watch, and they always
every
kiss at
movie.
one point, but they didn't.
I could name to you some movies where. Oh well.
Most movies have love interest, and they at least kiss once, right?
I'm trying to think of the most like disturbing movie I've ever seen that doesn't have a love interest. Oh,
Right?
that has a love interest too. Okay, you know what?
You know what I'm thinking? Though? But it's accurate, right?
Yeah, but
There's almost always
do
a
you
love
think?
interest.
Do you honestly think a movie about tornadoes and storm chasers trying to like intercept and understand these behemoth titans of Mother Nature? Does that need a love interest?
Yes. Every movie needs a love interest.
It was a rhetorical question. I don't think I even needed to
Okay,
ask
but
that.
no, I always get mad. Even in rom-coms, like sometimes there's rom-coms where they just don't even kiss, and I was like, what? I was like, that's the whole point. Why haven't you kissed yet?
That's the whole point.
Literally. Anyway, but 10 out of 10, go watch it.
Yeah.
It's in theaters now, and by the time this airs, it still probably will be because it's good. It's like the movie
Yeah,
of the
I've
summer.
heard a lot of great reviews about it, so
It was
go
amazing.
watch it if you like tornadoes, especially here in the Westman area.
Yeah, go watch it. It kind of made me want to move to Oklahoma and be a storm chaser.
Yeah, and that's she mentioned that in text,
and
and I
this-
said we're not doing that, and I said most tornado intercept vehicles cost upwards of $100,000 to
We can
custom
do it.
build, and I said find that money. She said, "Oh, I'll find that money." I'm like, "Yeah, good luck."
But also, I do have to mention the soundtrack was amazing to this movie. If you didn't know, there was
it all Chase Atlantic?
no, but there was released a couple months ago. It was said that there was a bunch of country artists collabing on this album.
Really?
So like, there's Luke Combs, Lainey Wilson.
Of course, all the country artists have to appear on this.
Well, it's a country themed movie, so but their songs are so good, and they like slowly started releasing. Like Luke Combs was the first one to release his music, and he played it at Craven last weekend. But
Like the same song like that's in the Twisters
Yep.
film.
And that's how and that was that song was used a lot in the trailers as well. But
Pretty lucky.
Yeah, he did amazing, but it's one of the coolest movies I think I've ever seen. It might be my new favorite. You should definitely watch it if you like tornadoes. Genuinely watch it.
I think I would have preferred them if they called it like Twister 2 rather than Twisters.
Yeah.
Twister 2 sounds better. You like the first one. If you like the first big tornado, well, you'll like a second bigger one.
Oh, speaking of movies that are in theaters, there's a new Deadpool movie coming out.
I have heard
Deadpool and Wolverine. And we learned at Craven last weekend that Nickelback has a song in it.
Oh, Kruger said it himself on stage.
Yeah, he's like when Ryan Reynolds asks you to do something, you do it. And yeah, so he teased that there's a new Nickelback song coming out with the movie.
Oh, a new one.
It's in there, in the movie. It's gonna be good. I'm excited to hear it. I'm also kind of excited for the movie. I like the Deadpool movies.
I really hope it's like some like a photograph song. That's one of my favorite songs I love to make fun of.
I did see the trailer for the new Deadpool movie, and it looks really funny.
Look at this Deadpool. Every time I do, it makes me laugh.
This is why he's not in the music business, guys.
You know what? But I have fun doing it. Most people in the music industry are miserable.
Fair. Speaking of movies that are coming to theaters or like that are coming out, what movie are you most anticipating to watch?
This is where I have to make a confession. I don't go and see a lot of movies in theaters anymore because there's nothing that buzzes me except for the Twisters movie. And also, I'm a little lazy.
Do you like horror movies?
I have the biggest love-hate relationship with them.
I find that with a lot of people.
Hate jump scares, but at the same time, I love that eerie feeling.
Well, there's a new movie coming out August 9th, I think it is. And I just saw the trailer for it. I didn't even know anything about it before I saw the trailer. But it's called Trap. And it's basically, the premise is this big concert is a trap to find some guy who's a serial killer. But it looks like our main character, who brought his daughter to the concert, trying to be a good dad, is the serial killer.
Okay, what if that was at Craven?
That would have been fun.
You're just trying to find the serial killer.
But no, the whole concert was put on as a trap. And there was like military and all that around. It looked intriguing and I want to kind of watch it.
It's pretty unique. Unrealistic, but unique.
Unrealistic, but it was very
it's a
intriguing.
Unique concept.
The other movie that I'm excited for, because it's based off of a book, is It Ends With Us. Comes out
I heard
September, I think. Something like that. That one was supposed to come out in June.
Sorry, don't mind me. I'm just looking up upcoming movies because I haven't been keeping up because there might be some movies that like I am excited to see. I haven't.
Yeah. I also want to watch Despicable Me 4, but that's because I'm a child at heart. And it looks good. Better than the third one, I'd say.
Avengers Secret Wars in 2027.
Here, hold on. Go to the Landmark Cinemas website and look at the ones that are coming out. It has till like 2025.
Landmark Cinemas.
But yeah, It Ends With Us is one of the ones I'm really looking forward to. Everybody, I know it's going to be a well-hated movie because of the casting they did and the way they decided to go about it. But I still think it'll be a good experience because I like the book. It's the only Colleen Hoover book I actually liked.
Sorry, this almost looks like a horror movie, but the one called Long Legs.
What is that about?
Me, because I have long legs.
It might be a horror movie. I don't actually know. Someone asked me if I was going to watch it, and I was
If you guys have never seen me before in public, I have very long legs. Like I have virtually tree stumps for legs.
Tree stumps.
So it's about.
I would say more tree branches, mostly because stumps are like big.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Okay. We
But
also
you're,
have Despicable Me
skinny
4. We have Inside Out 2.
I also watched that
Yeah, I'll
one.
say, did you see that one?
That one was good. Go watch it. I feel like it's very realistic, and honestly, it made me cry. I was in tears.
Well, you.
I'm
No offense,
emotional,
but
guys.
I was like, no offense, but you cry at a lot of movies. If you cry at Twisters within the first 10 minutes,
That's because the first 10 minutes are so sad.
right?
Like, they need to do a kill count on one of those movies, I swear. No, because the kill count, they wouldn't even be able to do it. I watch kill counts for horror movies all the time, and I watched the kill counts of all 5 Purge movies, and I think the very last Purge had the most kills.
I think The Purge was a little overdone. Yeah, there's not really too many movies that really pique my interest. And because here's the thing, this is like the one thing, the opinion that I have about a lot of movies nowadays. a lot of movies, like a lot of the new video games that are coming out nowadays, they are lazy. There are remakes. They're just not well written. I feel like the era of like good movies has passed us. Like when we were kids, I'm sorry, animated films, I mean, there are
They
animated
suck
films
now.
like,
I'm sorry.
yeah, well, animated films specifically from like the 90s to like the early mid 2010s, like that was like the golden age of like Disney and Pixar could do nothing wrong.
Yeah, because we had like
They did
we
The
had
Lion King.
Toy Story,
Lion King, all the 3 Toy Stories. You had Cars, The Incredibles,
all the princess movies,
Finding
like
Nemo,
Rapunzel
like
and all that
there
stuff.
was, yeah, everything was just banger after banger, and now it's like they can't do anything right.
I don't think the only like newer Disney movies I've actually watched or Pixar, I watched Inside Out 2, and I think Encanto was like the last actual new movie I've watched.
Right.
Because I liked Encanto. I think it was the only good newer animated movie by
Yeah.
them. Because I like the story behind it, but everything else I just won't watch.
The only animated movie that I saw like in the last like year and a half, 2 years that I liked was the Super Mario Brothers movie.
That one was good.
I liked it.
I enjoyed
People
it.
were like, "Oh, well, that movie didn't have a whole lot of depth to it in the story." It's not.
It's
meant
not
to be,
supposed
It's
to.
not supposed to be. It's an animated movie about a character that's designed for children. Because you're a middle-aged 30-year-old guy in your mom's basement and complain that it's not a good movie, boo-hoo, you're not the target audience.
But no, I enjoyed it.
I liked
Did I?
it.
I think
But
I watched it. in
Besides
theaters. I
that,
don't
like
remember.
though, like the last animated movie that like I watched and like really enjoyed was like Zootopia, and that was 8 years ago, which makes me feel
They're coming
old.
out with the second one.
Are they actually?
Yeah, in like a
okay,
year.
That's the new excited movie. Zootopia was.
Zootopia 2. They're
Was-
coming out with Moana 2.
Oh, it was okay.
I liked
It
Moana.
spawned a million internet memes from it, which was amazing.
Yeah,
What
but
can I say except you're welcome?
he's being a little special today.
Watch your words.
Hey, I just said special. That could be a good thing. But yeah, no, I'm very excited for Zootopia 2. I'm trying to think. They're coming out with a Minecraft movie in 2025.
Okay, here's the thing. Minecraft movie, I have heard endless rumors and leaks and
It's
So-
on the Landmark Cinemas website.
is it okay?
As in
'Cause
coming to
here's
theaters
the
in
thing.
2025.
Here's the thing. I've been a lifelong Minecraft fan, and the amount of is a new Minecraft movie coming out that has been teased and has been supposedly leaked and rumored since going back to like 2015, 2016. It's
Okay.
been going on forever,
But when you think about it, so was the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. That was 8 years in the making.
and that happened.
Finally. So I have hope for the Minecraft.
Hello, everybody. My name is Mark Blair. Sorry. We're getting so far away from movies. We're just doing obscure.
Did you watch the
references.
FNAF movie?
You know what? I never did.
It's on Prime. You should watch it. It
I
was.
don't watch a whole lot of movies nowadays. I have to make a confession. I don't watch a whole lot of movies. I only watch the movies of like the series that like I love to death. Which, speaking of that, we've gone far enough into this episode, kind of talking about movies. How about we start talking about like the stuff that we like actually love, like the
Okay.
movie series, the sagas. I'd say, how about, and I can go first if you want. Top 3 favorite movies of all time.
Okay. Well,
I'll
I'll
go
let you
first
start.
because I've had this in my head for a long time because I know what I like. So first things first, I'll give an honorable mention, and that would be the Lego movie.
I haven't watched that in
The
so
Lego
long.
movie. It came out in 2014. I was 10, almost 11 years old when that movie came out, and that is still one of my favorite movies of all time because I've been a lifelong fan of just Lego in general. That was like one of my passions as a child. And that movie, I mean, it is like a really well written and funny movie,
It is.
but it was like if you were a kid at the time of any age and you liked Lego, like it was virtually impossible to hate that movie or find something wrong with it.
I liked it. I've never rewatched it. I would rewatch it now,
We're gonna have to rewatch it.
but I liked it when I first saw it.
Phenomenal.
I just
movie.
never rewatched it.
And the song of the Everything is Awesome. That is one of the best songs
Wait.
that has ever come out.
Lego
period.
Batman is in that, right?
Yeah, like Batman.
Okay, because I didn't know if it was a separate movie. I just remember
Well, yeah,
seeing.
it was like the same like idea, same I think the same studio. It was just a spin-off of Batman. And okay, a lot of the jokes in the Lego movie and Lego Batman are so simple and almost
And
kind of childlike
stupid.
and stupid, but it's done so well. Like in the Lego Batman movie, like Batman's like at his big computer, he's like I have to find the super secret password, and then Alfred is like Do you mean the password is Sir Butler with 2 T's? Ha! That made me laugh my head off so much. And that's like the joke that like
That's so bad.
an 8-year-old would laugh
Yeah.
at. And I loved that so much.
Okay, so that was your honorable mention.
That was my
What are your
honorable
top
mention.
3?
Okay, so I have to say, in a way, this is from 3 to 1, but in a way, it's kind of not really in a specific order. The first one I'll go with is Forrest Gump.
Oh, yeah.
Forrest Gump is one of my favorite movies of all time.
It's been a hot minute since I watched that movie.
It is a funny movie. It is a really, really well made movie, and just the whole story itself. If you haven't seen Forrest Gump, well, actually, if you don't watch a lot of movies and you don't like spoilers, you should have tuned out of this episode like 20 minutes ago. But
You're just lucky I did a spoiler-free Twisters review. Because, honestly,
you're very lucky.
I was ready to spoil it for you guys, but
Yeah.
I
But
won't.
just all of the historical events that Forrest finds himself in is just, it's so funny how like one guy who like he can run into all these like monumental stuff of like the latter half of the 20th century, and he's like always in the middle of all of it. And that is also one of the most quotable movies of all time.
I have a question because I've been thinking about this while you've been talking. Can I do my top 6 because I have like
absolutely
six like absolutely favorite movies.
You absolutely can
All
do
right.
that.
Okay. I'm just gonna order them in my head while you talk.
Okay. But yeah, again, like what I said, like, and Forrest Gump is one of the most quotable movies of all time. Like you can pick any single one like out of the hat, like of course the classic, like "Run, Forrest, run."
Laughs like a box of
Yeah,
chocolate.
or laughs like a box of chocolates, or when Forrest meets President Kennedy's like, "I gotta pee," or oh gosh, there's an
There's a lot.
absolute million of them.
The point is, there's a lot.
But Lieutenant Dan, you don't have legs. Yeah, I know, Forrest. Yeah, that can go on and on and on. But yeah, Forrest Gump, that is one of the best movies ever made, and a phenomenal soundtrack as well. I have to have a confession. I kind of forgot one of them in my list. We'll come back to that in case I remember it. But my absolute favorite movie/movies of all time, it's a 2-parter, but I put them together because they're essentially the same movie. It's just a part 1 and part 2 of the movie, even though they were released separately. But Avengers Infinity War / Endgame.
Those were amazing. Like
Okay.
they were well done.
There are a legion of contrarians, I'm going to use that word, contrarians, who like to shun Marvel superhero movies, like, Americanized superhero movies. And I'm going to tell all of them to shut up. Your opinion does not matter. An opinion is not a fact. I'm going to shove it right in your face. I have dissected, because I've always been a big superhero fan. In a way, a lot of like, not that it can't be a girl's thing, it obviously can be, but for a lot of like boys when they're growing up, superheroes is like one of the main fascinations that a lot of boys have, and I was full there.
Yeah.
Like I was a huge fan of like Spider-Man, and Thor is my favorite superhero of all time. But because I have dissected deep into the plot and like the
One quick interjection.
Interjection.
Thank you. Do you like Thor because you have the same amount of hair as him, and if you turn it blonde, you could be like, I'm Thor.
Well, you can almost do that better than I can since you have the blonde hair. And no, Thor was my favorite before I had long hair.
I was just bugging. I just thought it would be funny. I was like, oh, you have the long hair.
Maybe, stay tuned. If we do a Casey Chronicles Halloween episode, we have to.
We're gonna dress up for it.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I actually have something to talk to you after the episode.
Okay.
Just,
all right.
just don't let me forget.
Okay. Is it related to Halloween?
Yes, actually.
Okay. Anyways, as I was, but again, I've dissected the plot of both the movies and a lot of the subtle side notes and a lot of the Easter eggs, because to really appreciate and understand a lot of the Marvel movies, but particularly Infinity War and Endgame, you really do have to watch all of the movies. And personally, I have not hated any of the Marvel movies that they did from the first Iron Man up until Endgame. There were some that were definitely stronger and weaker than others by like some pretty wide margins, but I generally never hated any of the movies. But if you watch all of them from the first Iron Man in 2008 all the way up until Endgame, and you properly kind of connect the dots of certain, certain plot points or certain character arcs and storylines, how those two movies are presented and how they really tie up a lot of the loose ends, it is so well written. Like, I'm not trying to say it's like one of the best written movies of all time, because there certainly are movies that have more clever and more intriguing writing. But in the context of a superhero film, they did about as well as they absolutely can, because I think those are the best superhero films of all time. Like, I know maybe a lot of old heads and maybe like a lot of the old guard would say maybe like a lot of the classic Superman movies are the best. And if that's your favorite, that's okay. But personally, I think that those two movies are the pinnacle of just how superhero movies should be. And also, not to mention, I mean, if you remember when those movies came out in 2018, 2019, you remember how huge those movies were when they released? Like, because both came out in late April, early May.
I wouldn't have wanted to go to the theater for that.
Oh, I did. And Endgame. Oh my gosh. Because that was the only movies to date where you go to the theater and being quiet and respectful is not a thing in the movie. Everyone in the audience is cheering and like screaming and laughing and having like a great time, because there's such an epicness. I always get chills whenever I talk about it, and I already have chills. There's such an epicness to those movies and just how the flow is, because both of the movies are long. Like, Endgame's 3 hours, Infinity War is nearly 3 hours, so it's like nearly 6 hours worth of running time. But it's so epic seeing all of these characters across like all these movies for over 10 years all come together and have such an epic, it's so good. Again, if you like movies and you watch all the movies, you appreciate it to such a level. It's mind melting to even wrap your head around just how good it was. And not to mention, they had huge budgets. They had like hundreds of millions of dollars put into this. So the graphic effects are just out of this world amazing. And that really got reflected in how, both Infinity War and Endgame grossed over $1 billion, and Endgame, for a time, became the highest grossing film of all time.
I remember when it was on the...
Yeah, for about, I think it was about 4 months after, because I remember it was the summer 2019. I remember right towards the end, it became the highest grossing film of all time.
That was right before COVID. That's crazy to think about.
I know, that's one of my favorite pre-COVID memories.
That is crazy to think about.
But then, because it surpassed Avatar, which was the highest grossing film of all time at the time, and then James Cameron had to get all insecure and then re-release Avatar for another theatrical run in theaters just to get that #1 spot back. I hate you, James Cameron. You had to take that away from the Avengers.
Speaking of Avatar, have you seen the new one?
No, because Avatar is one of the most overrated films.
I think I've watched the first one once, and I really just didn't like it, so I haven't watched the second one. But I
don't get what the appeal of it was.
You were saying the experience in the theater when you were watching those movies, how people were screaming. A movie, I haven't even watched it yet, but it was more like a documentary. But that reminded me of that came out recently, was the Taylor Swift movie, actually.
Right.
It was a lot of the same in theaters. I was going to go watch it in theaters, but that's like 4 hours, one. And two, they were sold out almost every show. And there was people screaming and singing. And I feel like that experience, if you are a fan of her, would have been the same kind of feeling if you're a fan of that.
Yeah. And because if you haven't seen any of the MCU or the Marvel Cinematics universe, because the first Iron Man movie to Endgame was the Infinity Saga. After that, like, all the movies that have been released since are not a part of the Infinity Saga, but like that Infinity Saga was such an amazing run of movies, and why I always think that Marvel will always be better than DC Comics. They run laps. They've run 10 laps around DC. All DC has is just re-release Batman and Superman every 5 to 10 years just to try and milk their cash cow. Marvel had a goal, they had a vision, and they executed it about as well as they could have. Was it perfect? No, but was it as good as we could have gotten in this timeline in this day and age? Yes. And if you haven't seen any of the Infinity Saga movies in theaters, I kind of feel sorry for you, because you can watch and get a good experience of the movie at home, but watching particularly the 4 Avengers movies, like the 2012 Age of Ultron, and especially Infinity War and Endgame, watching that in theaters when it came out is a exclusive experience that you just cannot replicate ever again. Like, I think most people who saw those movies in theaters wish like they could have gone and seen that again, especially like if you're a big fan. I will never ever forget seeing Endgame in theaters. Just the amount of time that I blew my voice out screaming, because it was so hype and so epic and just such an amazing experience that, like, again, every single time I think about it, I just get chills, because it is just
My favorite superhero from Marvel is actually Spider-Man, and I really enjoyed that they brought back all 3 actors for it.
Yeah.
That was really cool to me.
The No Way Home.
Yeah,
That was a great
I loved all the Spider-Man movies. I love the Spider-Man villains, though.
Yeah.
Like Doc Ock was my favorite Spider-Man villain, always.
Hello, Peter.
Anyway, my
So
turn.
yeah, sorry. Yeah, I was gonna
Blabbed
say so,
for a while.
Well, I was gonna say that's mine. I can't honestly just put the Lego Movie right there in
in the top 3.
in the top 3. So yeah, so Avengers: Infinity War / Endgame, Forrest Gump, and Lego Movie.
That's actually a good list. I have 6 because I couldn't decide because they were these 6 movies have been like stolen my heart. So at the bottom 6 is Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Specifically Goblet of Fire. It's my favorite movie. I like all the Harry Potter movies.
It's my second favorite.
I love all the Harry Potter movies. Don't get me wrong, but Goblet of Fire has been my favorite. It's had my heart since I first watched it.
Sorry, I just really quickly have to say I love Harry Potter to death, and almost all the Harry Potter movies from Prison of Azkaban forward are like
Amazing.
are pretty much like honorable mention level high.
Oh yeah. Too much to name.
There's
But
just too much.
the first 2, yeah, definitely weren't my favorite. Those are my
they're-
bottom of my
They're
list.
more kid-friendly movies, which they're still good.
They're still good.
Chamber of Secrets is one of my favorites, but from Prisoner of Azkaban to Deathly Hallows Part 2, that's when it got dark and it got good.
And actually, honorable mention would be both. Would be actually. My God, my brain melted.
Was it the ones that came after?
Deathly Hallows.
Yeah.
Sorry, Deathly Hallows Part 2 specifically is an honorable mention. That one is insane. The action
is
in
such
it, the
a
special
good
effects in that entire series is honestly so cool. Would have loved to have been a fly on the wall on that set to see how they did it because that is insane.
Me too.
All the acting is amazing. I love the entire cast with my entire heart. It's an amazing series. If you love Harry Potter, I love you. I actually have Sirius Black's quote tattooed on my arm.
See, that's one thing I've always thought about getting some Harry Potter themed or related
Do it.
tattoo, but I don't know.
Number 5 is Tangled. It's my absolute It's my absolute favorite like Disney princess movie ever. I love Rapunzel. My grad, if anyone knows me, my grad dress was purple, and my hair was literally Rapunzel's hair. So I love Rapunzel. That's a whole other point.
So like, wait, so like when you graduated, did like your principal say like, let down your hair?
No, but everybody said I looked like Rapunzel. Like it was uncanny.
Mission accomplished.
Number 4 is The Nightmare Before Christmas, because if you think about it, that movie is entirely, I forget what it's called. I'm so blanking hard today, guys. Stop motion.
It's
There you
early. It's early in the morning, and it's Friday.
It's a Friday. But that entire movie was made of stop motion.
Right.
And the soundtrack is amazing. I love the soundtrack to that movie. I know every song, every word to every song. I'm crazy. But I watch it every year.
I'm crazy.
I watch it every year because it is just such a good movie. And it's old, but it's all stop motion. And when I think about it, how long that must have taken, because that's a hour and a half long movie?
Out there, yeah.
Like that's crazy. My number 3 spot is Anyone But You, which is the rom-com that came out last year. And it is amazing. I just love rom-coms. I feel like since like the early 2000s have died out quite a bit and have been not good.
True.
So Anyone But You is one of the best rom-coms since then.
Yeah.
Since like the early 2000s, like since Something Borrowed and stuff like that. Like Something Borrowed used to be my favorite rom-com ever. I used to watch it all the time, but now Anyone But You replaces that. It's my new favorite rom-com. Number 2 would have to be the new Twisters movie, because the special effects in that movie are insane, and I love the plot of it. I love the idea of it, and I love how scary it was.
Sorry. Really quick, I don't mean to butt in, but here's some official stats because you're saying like The Nightmare Before Christmas. It said, The Nightmare Before Christmas officially began in July 1991.
That's great.
The animation crew consisted of 120 members with a total of 109,440 frames taken for the movie.
That's
obviously
crazy.
not a quick process. It said the team had to construct 227 puppets with about 400 different facial expression heads for Jack Skellington alone.
I know. I saw like a picture and there was like all his different faces, and I was like,
And it just kind of vaguely says The Nightmare Before Christmas taking over 3 years to make. So I'm not sure if that includes like writing the actual, like not just the animating process, like everything all together, but still like that is a lengthy
I was gonna
amount
say,
of time
what
to
year
make
was
a
it
movie.
released? 95?
I don't remember. Sorry.
I think it was 95 or 94 that it was released. I want to say 95 in my brain.
We're gonna. It says premiering in 1993. I'm not. Keep talking.
Anyway, my number one spot is also came out last year, and I went. So the story behind this, I went to Winnipeg, but it was playing the next day in the theaters. So we came back, and we went to the late screening, and we didn't get out of there till 1 a.m.
Really?
Yeah, because the movie is quite long.
October 1993.
Oh.
Anyway.
It was Hunger Games: The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
Oh, the Hunger Games.
The special effects and just that entire movie was so cool. And I also love the soundtrack. They did amazing. I love the plot of it. And there's a new one coming. There's a new book and a new movie.
Sorry.
No, but there's a new book and a new movie.
Is there really?
To Hunger Games coming out.
See, I don't have anything against the Hunger Games. I've just never gotten into it, so I can't share your enthusiasm.
You should get into it. It's so good. There's 5 movies currently because they split Mockingjay into 2.
Yeah.
But there is a new book coming out.
Okay.
Like, this is years after she released the rest of the books. So there's a new book coming out, and if you know the movies, it's Haymitch's story.
Oh.
Haymitch is, if you don't know, in the first 4 movies, I guess, he is the mentor to Katniss and Peeta. Mm-hmm. And he won his own games. That's how he became a mentor. Oh. But he was part of the second Quarter Quell, which, if you don't know, this is going to get nerdy. The Quarter Quells are every 25 years, they do a special game. So in Haymitch's, it was double the competitors. So there was 2 guys and 2 girls from each district, and still only one could win. He won his games.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So when you think about it, that's 24 people just originally. So double that number. There was 42 people in the arena, and he won.
So your odds of surviving go down.
Way down.
Just by proxy.
So it's going to be his story and his games. And the Quarter Quells are one of the coolest things. Like, I can't remember what each of them are, but there's been 3 by the time we get to Katniss and Peeta's story.
Right.
And they're just like, they're special. They have a different, like in, actually, yeah, by the time, in the second movie, Catching Fire is the 3rd Quarter Quell, which is the 75th annual Hunger Games. All right? Okay. And that one is only people who've already been in the games can be in. So only survivors.
Oh, okay.
Which also was made because President Snow wanted to kill Katniss. But
spoilers.
That's a whole other thing. Yeah, he like changed it and made the Quarter Quell so that Katniss would go back in so that he could get rid of her. But she survives. They all survive actually, and then there's a huge rebellion. But yeah, so then I can't remember what the first one is. I wish I remembered what the first one was. But it's one of the coolest things. I like the Quarter Quells, and so to get to see one again in a movie will be really cool. The book's coming out in March of next year, and the movie's coming out in, I think, in like November, December next year.
Awesome.
They already announced the movie, even though the book's not out.
Okay.
So very excited for that. It's going to be very good.
But yeah, so that's your favorite movie of all time. It's just, it's
no, I will watch it 8 million times over again.
That's awesome. Well, we don't have a whole lot of time left, but I thought maybe for fun we can do a quick ranking since it's already kind of fresh in our minds. What's your 3 favorite movie series of all time? Like a saga, trilogy?
Okay.
Because I already have mine on the top of the dome.
Okay.
So two we've already talked about. One I can give a little time to talk about, but my 3rd favorite of all time, the entire Pirates of the Caribbean. So well done. Johnny Depp is one of my favorite actors, and who doesn't love Captain Jack Sparrow and just how comedic his character?
Got a jar of dirt.
I got a jar of dirt. Why is the rum gone?
That is a good one. I enjoyed those.
Oh, and I loved that because like the main, like the first 3, like Curse of the Black Pearl, Dead Man's Chest, and At World's End are all like phenomenal.
It's been a while since I watched them.
Yeah, I loved the 4th one, On Stranger Tides. That was a great one. I know it's not everyone's favorite, but it is one of my favorites. And I like in that movie when Jack has to go to London and he sits with King George, and he's like, of course King George is like the snobby British monarch. He's got his powdered wig, his fine clothes and whatnot, and he's like, so I heard that you are trying to form a crew and rebuild your ship. And then Jack, he's like indulging himself in all these fine treats. He's like, for your information, your hiney, instead of your highness. That joke always made it. And then he makes some joke about like in that stupid wig, flips the table and then starts running and dancing along the table, makes like the grandest escape. How Jack manages to make all those grand escapes is amazing. And then like in the first movie, it's like, you've got to be the worst pirate I've ever heard of, but you've heard of me.
There you go.
Yeah, so Pirates of the Caribbean, if you haven't seen it, just watch the first 4. Skip the 5th one. Just
no.
Just skip the 5th one. But the first 4, especially the first 3, phenomenal, amazing movies. Second favorite series of all time, Harry Potter. Oh, I wish we had more time so I could just ramble on and on about Harry Potter.
I wish we could live in Harry Potter. That would be the coolest thing ever.
Harry Potter is one of the best movie series and book series of all time.
I think it was very well executed as movies.
Yeah.
Like there are bits and pieces missing from the books, and that's normal with any book to movie. And there are some
parts where it is badly butchered. Like for as much as I love the Goblet of Fire movie, like I don't want to spend too much time nerding out about it, but essentially, because there were different directors for most of the different films, so they all have different perspectives and visions of how they want to move the book to the movie, because again all the books came out before the movies and there's a lot more detail in the books in it, but you have to condense it down into a movie form. The guy, his name's escaping me, but the guy that directed The Goblet of Fire, there were a lot of bad butcherings from the book to the movie. However, I'm able to forgive that because the movie that we got, though, is still amazing, because that's the movie, sorry, spoilers, but that's the movie where Lord Voldemort comes back, and he is, I think, honestly, my favorite character in the entire movie, and oh my God, it is so good. Just the entire graveyard scene at the end of the
insane.
I'm not going to spoil even spoil that, but the graveyard scene at the end of the 4th movie is so well done. Like, it's so dark and sadistic, but it's amazing. And then because I spent about 15 minutes just not shutting up about it. First, my favorite series is Avengers, the MCU, specifically the Infinity Saga. After that, the quality drops off a cliff. With some good movies here and there. However, it drops off a cliff. But from the first Iron Man to Avengers Endgame, cinema masterpiece.
All right, my turn. Harry Potter, number 1. Always be my favorite movie series in the entire world.
Preach.
As 2, I'd have to say the Hunger Games series. I like how they were all made, and I think they all portray the books very well. Yeah. And also, there's just so much action in them. Like, they're really good. And
a lot of death.
A lot, yeah. Well, somebody should do a kill count on those. And number 3 would have to be, and I know you don't like the series, but it's the Purge series. And it's not because it's good.
I don't hate the Purge series. I just think the idea gets a little stale after a while.
It's not because they're like the best movies ever. I just grew so fond of them. Like
it is a really cool concept. Like as a movie, it's amazing. Like all crime is legal from 12 hours from 7 to 7.
Yeah.
And the only rule is that there's no arson, no explosives, and you can't kill government people with the ranking over 10. But that's it. Everything else legal.
But okay, the series goes weird because the first movie kind of sucks in my mind, just because it's not got a whole lot of plot to it.
Oh, okay.
So I don't really get attached to the family. If they die, I don't really care.
It's just a lot of death, and that's it.
Yeah. The second movie, however, Anarchy, one of the coolest things ever because I love the plot. Spoiler alert. Basically, this guy he's going out to kill the guy who killed his son. Because his son died in a drunk driving accident. So he's like, I want to kill this guy. And then this couple gets their brakes cut by some people who are purgers before the purge, so they can't get home before the purge starts. So they're stuck out on the streets for the purge.
The worst place to be stuck.
And this other family, the grandpa sacrifices himself so that the kids can get money. They find out and they're like, oh my God. And then their building gets raided so that they can get kidnapped and murdered. So they end up out on the street, and the couple's on the street, and that guy's driving around because he wants to go find the guy. Well, that guy ends up protecting the 4 of them. and then all 5 of them get kidnapped, and they're hunted by rich people.
And that's the one thing about the Purge. Sorry for spoilers, but the whole Purge, it's not about giving, the Americans in the movie, their freedom to kind of like let loose for 12 hours. It was a secret government plot to get rid of the homeless.
And then,
dun, dun, dun.
And then the third one, election year. I like the story of that one too, because it's the girl, when she was younger, her entire family was slaughtered. So she runs for president so she can end the Purge. Which I like that, but
that's a valid reason.
She gets, she actually gets like stuck out on the streets as well, so she's fighting for her life. The other guy she's running against kidnaps her, and this whole church weird preachy purge service is going on.
Preachy!
And they're like, let's murder her. She's a sacrifice, and then that guy's gonna win. But then she gets saved because the guy in the last movie who was gonna go get revenge for his son is her bodyguard. Dun, dun, so I do like that they carry the characters on.
There's more plot.
And then in the 4th movie, it goes all the way back to how the Purge started, how the very first one went, how it was an experiment, and how it was started on Staten Island, and crazy people, and they get paid to participate.
Oh yeah, all the crazy people, like the Purgers, like the people that you see in the promotion, like wearing the mask, those are people secretly contracted by the government or hired by the government to eliminate the homeless or people who can't defend themselves.
Also, in the 4th movie, there's no masks. It's an all experiment, and they get these like contacts that are cameras, so that people get live view of the people who are murdering people. But they get paid like $5,000 to participate. Whether you participate, if you participate, or if you just stay on the island, you get paid.
Might be worth it if you want to make some extra cash.
Yeah. And then the 5th one is the Forever Purge, which it follows this people who the Purge happens, Purge ends, but people are like, nah. And they keep killing, and it's mass chaos in the U.S. to the point where I can't remember what it's called, martial law. They actually enforce martial law, and people have to escape to Mexico and Canada.
So this is why if you ever genuinely wanted the Purge to be real, it's not a good idea.
I used to have nightmares about it being real, but I kind of wish it was real because I could kick some butt.
Well, so you want to validate the feelings?
No. But anyway, real quick before we wrap up, I just also want to say one movie that I absolutely did not like that I watched in theaters, and it's a Marvel movie, Madame Web. It was good. I liked the idea of it.
Oh, yeah.
I liked the idea of it. It was just kind of poorly executed, and I feel like the end was very rushed. Like, I was so intrigued throughout the movie, and then they just slap on an ending, and they're done. And I was like, nah. But other than that, is there any movie that you truly hated?
Honestly,
we leave?
There's no movie I honestly, like, because I'm pretty selective. Like, I only go and see the movies that, like, I really want to see, and I have good luck in that I don't hate them. Mm-hmm. Like, there's some movies where I'm like, yeah, that was decent. But almost every movie I've seen, it's like, I love it.
I think we need to do a second episode on this because I have more to talk about.
You have more to talk about. You just want to talk about The Purge and The Hunger Games.
Well, there's one movie that I watched in theaters that I would like to go in depth about, and it's called Imaginary. It's a horror movie. Really good. But we don't have enough time to go into depth about that. So
no time.
We will do a second episode, I think. Talking about like different theater movies that we've seen and stuff like that, I think.
I think it's time to go for a nap.
Yeah, I think so.
It's nap time. It's nap time here at Westman Communications Group.
Nap time. Sorry. I started getting back. But nap time. Anyway, we need to leave.
Anyways, yeah, we got to go. So,
if you or anybody you know are interested in doing a podcast here in the studio with us or by yourself, you can email us at wcgtv@westmancom.com. We forgot to mention that earlier, so I thought I might add that in.
Good time to mention it now. And if you also are a avid moviegoer and you wanted to tell us about how our opinions are wrong for some reason,
or if you agree with us,
you can also email us at wcgtv@westmancom.com. But that is up to your own prerogative. There's no commitment needed.
And we will be back next week with another episode. We're not sure what we're going to do yet, but
we're not sure. We might do a part 2 to an episode that we have already done that we teased, kind of.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see.
We'll play it by ear. But we hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week, and we hope that we are the highlight of your week because that would be great.
If we are, we love you.
Sincerely. Yeah, we love you.
We love you sincerely.
And you want to wrap it up?
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for watching, guys. And from Kenzie and Cullen, we'll see you guys next time.